Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter, it only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising. Today is a new day to start again. It is 4/18/2025. Getting deep into April. Boy, I tell you what, my last video, it was a 28-minute video, and I had 4 views, 3 of which were mine, and 1 like, or 4 likes, 3 of which were mine, 1 like. I got lost. And what's funny is I think it was my best video, in my opinion. Well, we are an all-time low at New Day to Start. But I'm still going. It was about the Energizer money. I can't quit after that. Anyways, let's move on. This is all about me because I'm egocentric. And I have delusions of grandeur because I keep moving along with these videos like I'm trying to talk about something important. I think it is, so I'm going to stay with it. I suppose it's okay to come out and announce that I do not think there are real big feets running around. Bigfoots running around. I could be wrong. There could be big feet out there. But I don't even know that they ever existed. It seems to me to be kind of, I think that there was some creatures, or who knows what, giants maybe. I am really skeptical. Until I've seen it, I really don't believe it. But there is a preponderance of evidence that shows that there were things here that we haven't seen. And because we don't have the freedom to actually like check out the bones ourselves and really look at it, it's got to go through the funnel of the pyramids. You like that? All right. I speak in code here at New Day to Start to keep myself from getting taken down. I've been taken down, though. The takedown was pretty heavy. It was, Clark's down. He's down. David Clark is down. I keep getting up, though. I'm just not a threat. They're just like, why don't just put him over there then? That's so funny. There's some truth to that shit. Where am I going at? I should probably read my stuff now. Big feet, Bigfoots. I just don't think Harry and the Hendersons, maybe though. I don't rule anything out. I had a friend that, I just want to show that there is limits. I had a friend that admitted that the Blue Origin with Katy Perry looked very hokey, which seemed like a huge win to me. It almost seems like, at least I got an admission of that. And it really seems to be like a trap. I feel like people are going to get drawn into showing how bad this thing is, and then they're going to show a verification that is easily verifiable, and everybody's gonna be like, oh look, there are a bunch of alarmists running around saying everything's fake. That seems to happen quite a bit, actually. So we'll see what happens with that. It's the bait. That would be my guess. But it was interesting to see a friend of mine actually acknowledge, because it does look pretty hokey, the Blue Origin Katy Perry thing, if you haven't watched it. That's where we are in our timeline on this video that 4 people watch. This is why the way is so beneficial, following the way. What I really like about following the way is, especially for your mental health, because it's a very weird time. And what I have noticed through what I went through, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I don't even know the numbers are true because I don't really pay attention. But I do remember being very concerned that during COVID and after COVID, and because of COVID for our youth, that we were going to have a high suicide rate, high drug rate. I thought it would be, I was actually prognosticating. Those are close. You spend too much time prognosticating, that's why you procrastinate. I found it. So my prognostications, though, I would have thought that we would have had more upheaval. I know there has been some, but and maybe it's just my awareness to it too. I'm not in these places which have crime, a lot of crime, thankfully. So a lot of it's just where you are at. And if the really big thing about these phones is, like, if these phones didn't exist, just taking away the phones to televisions, and then take away the televisions to telephones, and then take it down to none of that. I think that is it. I think that there is different times in our realm where these things are available to us, or just to the realm in general. But I think that there are cyclical events that may alter what is our atmosphere, and it changes what flourishes. And we just happen to be in a specific time right now. So anyways, what I was trying to get to is why I think the way is so beneficial is it is always regardless. I think that the way is just part of following the flow of what is. And whenever you're struggling with things, because sometimes life is really hard, and sometimes you struggle when life is going really well because your expectations are so high and it's a lot of pressure when everybody's looking at you. You need a reason to keep going. That may be why people that are highly influential, but I think what is very common is in the highly influential people in our society, most of them are dragging with them things that are held over their head. So they're dragging something that's held over their, like, you're going to have to hold that. And their choice basically is either do the bidding of where they're getting their financial, reward and acclaim and all of that. So they either follow what they're asked to do, or they're destroyed. So they kill themselves. So that's basically the rule. I think basically in the end of it, a lot of them are just like, they don't want what would come out to come out. So they just end. And that's how they get shut up. That's the cap. But you need a reason to keep going. So that is, shame is painful for sure, and what you have to go through whenever you basically have to admit wrongdoing in front of everyone. It's very difficult. And especially when you don't have a defense, you need a reason to give. You're getting punished for rightful reasons when we get back to that reason. So it can be very difficult to find a reason to keep moving forward whenever you've lost your reason. It's not funny, but that's what happens, is people lose their reason to live. And what I would say is that the way is the reason. And I got into this. I probably should have read my lines as I read, because I made this really short, actually. And I changed the flow of how I was going to try to do this. I was going to do it short and sweet. But I do need to go back and saddle into this. So I'm just going to read what I wrote verbatim, and then we'll just move on from it. So this is why the way is so beneficial to your mental health. You need a reason to keep going. You need a reason to stay humble. You need a reason to give your love to someone. You need a reason to live. If you have no reason, and then I went back into that ray sun. So the sun is really the reason. You're the son of the sun. Whether you're a girl or a boy, you're the son of the sun. You have no life. It's yours. It's given to you. It's not yours. So to extinguish it, you do you, but there's a way, there's other way. That's not the way. You can sit down. You can just curl up in a ball until everything goes away, but eventually something's going to bump you, I promise. But don't end it. You can shrink to as small as you want to shrink, but just there's no reason to end it. Now, pain is painful, though. I get it. that is one thing. We give up on the pain, and then we numb the pain until we no longer feel it, and then we stop breathing. That's how a lot of us are going now whenever we do the hospice care. And I'm not sure about all that. I don't know. It's very common. It's something that we've done for a really long time. And you definitely don't want to go out in pain. It's such a surrender. I don't know. I'm really lost on that one, and I don't know why I dropped at it. But what I would say, because I always feel like there's always, but I'm not. I've been in that situation with both of my parents, and looking back on it, I'm still a little lost on whether I agree with what we did. But it is what it is. I didn't really have a voice at the time. And it is what we do as a society. And it is something that seems to be traditional for a really long period of time. And especially like in war situations when somebody's you see it in the movies all the time. You just give it morphine until they basically OD on morphine. But at least they don't die with that pain. But a lot of times they're begging for their life while they're being given it. Where is the core? Your center, the very center of the tree, where the roots come from, the seed and the egg. And then I got into this weird thing because I thought it was interesting because you have a seed, and that seed, as it grows and germinates, it goes up and down. And then you have the idea of the seed and the semen, and then the egg. And then I started thinking about chickens, because the chickens and the seed, they eat seed. So is seed the chicken? So is chicken and then the egg? Is that what it's all about with what came first, the chicken or the egg? Plants came first, I think, for sure, right? I'm telling you, I get dizzy sometimes. I wouldn't want to live in my head. Oh wait, I do live in my head. And anybody that watches these videos, this was supposed to be like 7 minutes. I had a really big goal when I started it. Where are we at? We're 3. Yeah, so we're spinning and wobbling and tilting. Actually, most of it is falling. According to mainstream, we are essentially falling. That's what the gravitational thing is. We're falling. When we think orbit, we're actually falling around the sun. The moon is falling around us. All of these things, they get to a certain height and then they fall. It's very complex that nobody will really be able to explain to you. I promise, if you really ask. If you really act like you're really genuinely parsing like I parse, and you look at so where we go. So there is motion for sure, I think. They say they detect it with these laser, and they say you can detect it with the pendulum, and they say you can detect it with the gyros. Some sort of field, some sort of movement is what I think that they're detecting. They don't really, I mean, what you're seeing is a variance. How do we detect motion? Do you know how do we detect motion? It's a measurement. But if you don't have physicality, and light is not physical, which is what I always fight about, it seems. Where are we at? How do we detect motion from a separate reference frame? That's another thing too. Even if we can detect it here, we still have to be able to detect it in another. And supposedly we have a lot of things in other reference frames. Where we're going, we don't need roads. All right, so let me just get into like my version of what alchemy is. It's the elements. You're talking about elements. Instead of the periodic table and breaking things down into these labels, the more names you have, the more difficult things become. We have earth, it's an element. We have air, It's an element. We have water, pure water. It's an element. We have fire. It's an element. I have a harder time saying it with that one. And then there's supposedly a fifth element. So the earth is the ground underneath hidden truth is uncovered. But basically, the earth is not just, the earth is the earth and everything that's basically on it. And I think that we are earth, but we also are air. So all animals and things that are, I don't want to get into the biology. We're just going to stay with the elements. So there's earth, there's air. Air is as far up as we can go. And it seems that air runs out or gets really cold or gets black or whatever you want to call space. I don't want to get into heaven. That's what I call heaven. Everything above that we can't touch, that they say they can touch, these astronauts and experts and all this jazz, which everyone believes. This is my contention, though, is that there is no actual evidence. But I don't want to be all that either. I just want to follow the way, dude. So how we detect motion from a separate reference frame is to verify where we're going. We don't need to. Okay, so let's go back to where we are. There's supposedly a fifth element. What I did want to say, I did differentiate between water is pure also. The whole H2O and the whole different elements of periodics in our atmosphere as it goes up, they are labels. All of it is air, is what I would say. There's things in the air, but there's air. And I don't know that it's detectable. I don't know. It may be just the backdrop. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. What I would say is it's an element, though. It's an element. It's used. And so is Earth. It's a part of our system. And then we have water, which is pure. These are just things that we know that's been talked about for a really long time. People broke it down into more things after this because they wanted to make it more certified. It's certifiable is what it is, really. It's just a bunch of names. The more names you have, the more difficult it is to explain things. So anyways, I wanted to differentiate between, even with these ancient knowledges of the 4 elements or the 5 elements, I still see differences. It seems like water is something that's different than earth and air, because I don't know that water exists anywhere else. It might, but I don't have any verification of that. So for right now, I consider water to be something that's been given to earth and the air. And whenever there's water in the air, it wasn't always there. I think it's been introduced to our realm. And I think there was a time that this earth and air existed without water. And then we have fire. I think that's even more recent than water, probably, according to what I've seen. Fire was given to us as well. And fire was to help melt the ice, because water gets cold and freezes. I don't know. And we needed light other than the sun. We have the sun and the moon. But they are not earth. They are in the heavens, or maybe in between earth, air. So maybe in between air and heaven is where the sun and the moon are. Maybe the sun and the moon are not actually in the same. I think that they look to be in the same cycle. But we all have evidence of all this, because we had a thing that went to the sun, I'm sure, and stuff on the moon, on the dark side of it. And I hope soon that we'll have some signs up on the moon, like some big old signs that say Blue Origin. We use these elements like magicians, is what I would say. We've labeled them. We name, like doctors and degrees, We're all certified. There is a pyramid scheme to understanding how to use these elements. But what I'm trying to say is the water and the fire have been gifts to us. I was going to get really deep into the idea of what humans are, but I don't really want to do that. It's all my own speculation. All I want is for my friends that have known me is to really listen to what I'm trying to sell you. It's true freedom whenever you start to realize that everything really is. A lie is a bad way to say it. So let me say this. Everything is a lie because everything has a point of reference. It lies somewhere. So every perspective is a lie. It's lying somewhere. It's someone's truth is someone else's falsehood. But there is a way that is true, and it's north, but it's not a direction. I wish people understood what I was trying to say because that's really smooth. I just made that up on the fly. But all of this is for us in our moments right now. It's in the name of Jesus. It really is in the name of Jesus if you learn it. When I'm speaking of, Jesus would dig it. I'm telling you. The Jesus I know. It's in the way we move, the way we think, the way we feel, the way we do. Be human. A human being. A human being. Not just a human just doing it, like Nike. Be a human being. Uh-oh, we're almost done. This is supposed to be 7 minutes. So you tend the fields, you shepherd the flocks, you help where you can, you care for the wounded birds so that they can fly again. You help those in need with your abundance. We have abundance. And this is what I liked. Abundance. A band. Dance. Abundance. That seems like a nice way to segue. So I love to sing and dance. That's what I really love to do. I love to play golf. There's a lot of things I love to do. I could concentrate on the very pressing matters, but how is that my role? I didn't make that mess. And I'm not going to be able to fix it. I'll do what I'm called to do. Like if it gets to crunch time and I'm one of 12, I think I'm pretty strong. I wouldn't mind having me on my own team, depending on what we're doing. But I don't get a pick. I'm just sitting here doing my thing to make myself as strong, flexible, and beautiful as possible. And hopefully that helps to, that's how you lead, by following the way. You keep your attitude up. You keep good posture, especially in difficult times. And you just try to do your best. So I'm going to sing my song to end it because I kind of like that part. And then we'll be off on our days. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Yesterday doesn't matter. It only serves as a ladder. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, so make your plans accordingly. Today is a new day to start again. Take each moment one by one and do the best you can. Grand Rising. It was 4/18/2025. I hope everybody has an awesome day. I am really just taking it one day at a time. It's been kind of a weird run recently, and I don't really know what to expect, but I'm going to be very diligent and vigilant in my movement and understanding of the present moment, because it does seem like very important times in my life anyways. So I hope everybody has a great day today. Wish me well. I wish you well. Have a great day. Be grateful.